Hello guys, the coin here once again. The market is kind of flat today, not really much happening. As on the futures, as on the well, at least in regards of the Dow Jones. You know, the S&P opened up higher, so did the Dow Jones. So did the Nasdaq for sure, and the X. Yep, the Nasdaq actually happened much higher. Yep, some people are calling for the Nasdaq to reach around 11K. I don't know, maybe not. But to be honest, I don't know if that will happen. Because once again, I found out a pattern from 1929 from the Dow Jones stock market crash, and looks like we may be in the cusp of dropping here. So I don't know. All I'm waiting is actually for one last confirmation. So basically what I'm expecting from the Dow Jones is for it to reach 26,625. If it happens, I don't know, but I believe that if we will, we will drop. We will go to retest the lows. So I'm expecting it from the Dow Jones. I'm also expecting it from the Dow Jones future. So the market looks kind of flat today. So only the Nasdaq continues to make gains, and yeah. Besides of that, I don't see much of anything happening here. I don't even know which stocks are actually doing well, which stocks are not. Well, if the Nasdaq is up, I believe that Tesla and Amazon should be doing great, I would say. So for me, this is the magic line. This is where the Dow Jones futures and the Dow Jones need to be touching here. But like I said, the market is kind of flat today. I don't know if we will do that. The Dow Jones is actually struggling a little bit here. So yeah, Bitcoin looks like it's topped out for now, but like I said, if we're going to test these highs, man, Bitcoin is going at least to create kind of a double top or something. But looks like it's not happening right now. So let me take a look at Amazon. which should be making all-time highs again, just according to the NASDAQ opening. Yep. So Amazon is making all-time highs, which is great for the stock. So let me take a look at Tesla. Tesla, maybe it's doing the same thing. No, Tesla actually is not doing the same thing. Yeah, looks like Tesla has topped out as well. Looks like Tesla's topped out. This is a trend line. This is a trend line I've been following to create these charts here. So if Tesla is not topped out, it will be pretty soon, I would believe. In regards of Amazon, maybe I'll need to update the chart here. Maybe I need to update the chart. Yeah, Amazon is really something incredible here. And once again, yeah, the stock is doing great, you know. It's making money, you know. People continue to buy online, especially now with the lockdowns and crap like that. But man, like I said, you know, no one will be spared. Not even them. Even they had to drop. Right? So that was the all-time highs here. It dropped as well. So I don't believe there will be any miracles in here, despite of the Amazon stock continuing to do what it is doing. So let me see if I can find some kind of a trend line. At least in this one, because you know the others are just a bunch of crap. Yep, at least this one, you know, because I can't find any other trend line that can actually, you know. There was one, I guess. Maybe I can try that, but. This is it. Maybe this is not so fucking crazy after all. Yep. So this is the trend line. So let me try to create some fibs here so that we can understand what the stock is actually doing. Yep. No, we have to continue to update these because, you know, there are changes and things things need to be accurate. Of course, I will need to change the color in here because, you know, green and green is not good enough. So let me check what's going on. If I can find anything, any pattern that I can. That doesn't look too bad. Let's see if I can continue to do something. Looks like it's following this in here. Well, basically I'm just playing around with these fib circles, you know, because if you base them on trend lines, if they're valid, you know. So I don't know if this is resistance. Well, basically it's, yeah, it started to pump in here, so I don't know if this is already any kind of resistance here, but you know, could be already be topped out the Amazon here, so. No, I'm just trying to find out the top here, you know. That's basically what I'm trying to do, which is not easy at all. Not easy at all. So yeah. Just trying to see if we're topped out in here, because you know I really can't see this continue to go any higher, because even Warren Buffett, everybody's saying that the stock market is overvalued, man. It's really incredible. Despite of all the craziness that is actually going around in the world, you know, 40 million unemployed in the United States. Which is a lot. We have around 500,000 unemployed here in Portugal, where I live right now. And I'm not seeing how this is going to be reversed at all, unless there's kind of a reset. And I actually showed a paper in a previous video that I made about someone from the IMF, you know, talking about a reset. They rather have a reset than a reverse, and the reverse is a market crash. That's basically what's at stake in here. And yeah. So the market is kind of flat right now. You know, like I said, might be something going on in the other stocks, but as far as goes to the Dow Jones, it's a little bit flat. Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin, you know, is hovering around there, so it's basically waiting for something to happen because once again, I believe that Bitcoin is about to drop as well. But like I said, the catalyst here is the stock market, man. If the stock market isn't going to do anything, you know, if the stock market is hovering, so will Bitcoin. And that's basically what we have. So this is the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq, man, it's really incredible here. All-time highs in the Nasdaq. Let's check very quick the SPX, the S&P 500. Yep, the SPX is hovering as well. The Nasdaq opened strong. The S&P, I guess, also opened to the upside. So you see that, guys? What is happening on the Nasdaq? Rising wedge here, so eventually it will break. It's not that clear on the Nasdaq because, you know, its overextension is also incredible. But I actually could draw a channel at least. That's not it. X, where is it? Was it this? Oh yeah. No, the channel that I made was was one of these, and a short-term trend. But like I said, you need them to be drawing something. So this is a short-term trend. Nothing major. Just taking a look at the highs here because once again we had the rising wedge, kind of the rising wedge that happened all over the place, and now we have a big extension here. So once again, I don't know how long this can be sustained because it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how high the Nasdaq is. It's just, you know, it's complete insanity. You know, it broke out of this rising wedge. So the question is, can it continue to stay up? That is the question here. So can it stay up? I just believe this is too much of an extreme movement. It's not even starting to make any sense anymore. You know, it's just too much. It's just too fucking much. And I guess I have to change stuff in here because I changed the trend line. No, but yeah, it's just too much. It's just, you know, I don't believe this move these moves are actually sustainable anymore, man. It's just complete insanity, and people, and I believe there's traders actually calling for 11K, the Nasdaq 11K, man. And I'm not even saying that it's not possible. Of course it is possible, but just the overextension of this is completely insanity, man. So what I believe is that, yeah, they're basically propping up the stock market, especially the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq has been the biggest gainer. Just take a look. So from 170, or from here, because it started from here, 10,134 to 10,281. It's just too much, man. And once again, I don't believe these kinds of price actions, I don't believe they're sustainable. I just don't believe there is any sustainability about all this. It's starting to look more like madness than the stock market, man. It's just complete insanity, man. Complete insanity, man. No, I'm extending here. No, because once again, I don't believe that I need to make any much more changes. If that doesn't hold, that will be the next resistance, and the next fib, and the next fib, and the next fib. Maybe this is the ultimate one, But when you're talking about 11K, the Nasdaq, man, that's just complete insanity, man. I don't know. If it is possible, of course it's possible, but it's just too insane, man. This is not healthy, at least to what I understand, man. This market action is just not healthy, and man, you can extend it, and they extend it, but eventually it will have to crash down, man. It really is just, too fucking insane. So I don't believe moves like that are sustainable. But hey, Vitor, how you doing, man? Sorry, man, I was just caught up in the charts. Yeah, I actually made a long video before, but the reason why I have a red trend line on the Dow Jones is because I believe that this will be the top, or this will be the mark that we will have to reach before we will start the reversal. So I believe, according to the 1929, the start of the crash in 1929 to 1932, is playing out is exactly how it is right now. So I believe we will have to make, because yeah, since we dropped, we tested one time, we came close, we're going lower. So I believe this is in the Dow Jones, at least. I'm not even talking about the S&P and the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq and the S&P came much later. So in 1929 there was only the Dow Jones, and I'm marking the market crash just for that. And once again, the reasoning that I have for all this is the patterns that I was talking about. I don't even know what the hell it is. Well, let me check out. The futures market. I don't know where it is, but it must be here somewhere. Here it is. Okay, do you see it? This is the entire 1929 beginning and end of the crash. It still goes down further. And I believe that according to this pattern here, I believe this is this here, right? This is this. This is the bottoming here, and now we're making some kind of an M. We're making an M. So this was the first, and look how close this stuff is. Can you see it? The top, the bottom, the beginning of the M, the lower of the M, and now we have to go back. Because according to that chart, like we can see here, this is a double top. This is the M that I'm talking about. Do you see it? That is what I'm seeing in here. And after that, if I'm right, and if this is for real, we will go visit the lows again. So we will test, I would say, around around these levels here, or maybe these, I don't know. I believe that we will test 18,646, just according to the pattern. Do you see it? The mountain here, the bottom, the go for the M, right? And then after the M is made, we're going to test the lows. Can you see it? Here, the mountain, you go down, you have the top, you have the low. Now I believe that we will have to come at least, it's a double top, you know, it's a little bit lower, so I believe that's the pattern we are in. So that's why I wrote this, and you can see how accurate this is. You know, let me just play around with this chart. It's just incredible. You know, I just copied all the pattern from 1929. No, because this is relevant information. Come on, take a look at this. So here was our bottom. Of course, it retraced higher. You know, it retraced higher. So the stock market, the Dow Jones, lost 89% of its value. And I believe it will happen the same. In regards of the timeline, I believe that we're going to do it faster. I was studying the move, the entire move from the start of the crash until the end of the crash. You know, I believe that we might be around. You know, it's not for certain. 1.6 times faster than it happened in between 1929 and 1932. But I'm not sure. But that's what I believe, man. I don't know if you're still watching. I guess you still are. Did you see that, Vitor? It's fucking insanity, man. And yeah, what I'm actually doing is I'm just waiting. You know, I'm just waiting to confirm my hypothesis. You know, so this is the W that I'm. Or the M that I'm talking about. So basically what has to happen is this M, so this still has to go higher, this still has to go here. This has to go here. And then after that, I believe it is time for the so-called continuation of the crash, to visit the lows again. So I was actually expecting it for it to happen today, but you know, with the flat line of the markets right now, it could take a while, could still take a week, I don't know. We could continue to go sideways in here. There is no real strength in the stock, at least in the Dow Jones. You know, I don't see any strength going on. There is strength in the Nasdaq. There is strength in a little bit in the S&P, but on the Dow Jones, I'm not seeing it. So that, yeah, so I basically marked it here. That's what I'm expecting for this AMP pattern to be completed. So it has to make a double top or a bit lower, kind of a double top, or this level or this level. So I don't know. That's basically what I'm expecting, just according to what I saw in here. You can see it better on the futures than on the Dow Jones itself. But yeah, that's basically what I'm waiting for. I don't know if it will go sideways until it does, you know, because I don't believe the market will do anything without trying it, you know, at least without going for it. So yeah, like we can see, the stock market is stagnant, Bitcoin is stagnant as well. So there's any real movement. You know, in my opinion, once again, if the stock market is supposed to drop, and I can see a double top in here as well, or maybe going a little bit lower, the last pump effort, but nothing is going on. So Bitcoin is stale as well. So everybody or everything is waiting for the same thing. Everybody is waiting for the Dow Jones, and I'm waiting for the Dow Jones for the drop. Will it happen this week? Are we going sideways and delay all this? I don't know. But that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting exactly for this move. For the Dow Jones or the futures. But the Dow Jones, I believe, is more important to reach this level here, to make a double top and to start dumping. That's what I'm waiting for, basically. Just according to what I saw in the charts, that's what I'm seeing here. So what do you think about this analysis, man? What do you think? I don't know if you saw the whole thing, man, but you know, I believe the stock market is, or the Dow Jones, and I believe with the Dow Jones comes everything else, is so ready, man, so ready for a retest of the last lows and then the continuation, that, you know, it's not even funny. And I'm talking to myself again. But whatever, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm shadow banned, because I was checking some of my videos. I was talking about the stock market crash and crypto market crash. I was showing in my page, in my YouTube studio, I had 41 views. And if I'm just watching the video as a regular YouTuber, I only have 21 views. So I don't know if YouTube is shadow banning me. You know, it makes sense, but I wouldn't expect anything else, you know, because I talk a lot about the Cerveza bug as well. So it's possible, you know, there's no way for me to grow in here, but, you know, I don't care. I still have a couple of guys that maybe watch this, so welcome back, whoever you are. I don't know if it is you, Vitor, but yeah, I'm expecting something. First, I'm expecting this here too, for the Dow Jones to reach at least 26,619.8. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting for this pattern here to play out. Basically, that's what it is. See this top here? I believe this is it. This is the drop. Now we're making some kind of this. And like I said, for this pattern to be completed, we need to make a double top to this high here. You can't see it very clearly in the Dow Jones, but you can see it very clearly on the Dow Jones futures. if I know what it is. What the hell am I doing with it? Yep, I don't know what the hell happened to it, so I guess I have to copy it. No, it's still here. Yeah, maybe I need to make it a bit smaller. I need to make it a bit smaller. Let's try. It's not easy, man. These things here are not very easy to mess with. Yeah, but I guess that might be good enough. Let me see here. So this is the entire move from 1929 crash, the beginning and the end. It took roughly about 3 years for that to happen. And I believe that we're in the phase, we must be around here somewhere. So I'm expecting for us to visit the lows that are down here. That's what I'm expecting right now. So let's see if you can see it as well. No, of course there are similarities on the chart, but it's not quite up to scale because you know this move was very quick. No, I mean the retracement. You know, it retraced only to one certain level, but the retracement in 1929 was not that high. You know, I just made this smaller. So basically I'm talking about this here. I'm talking about this move here. Here. Can you see it? That's what I'm talking about here. So I'm waiting for the stop here. Can you see it? If anyone is actually watching. This is the move. Here we dropped, we made this M. I guess we're just waiting for this final phase here to make a double top and then retest the lows. No, because this move was so extreme high, you know, I believe we will see something like this. The market will visit the lows. Because in here, it didn't gain that much. You know, it wasn't that big of a move. Let me see if, I guess I can actually, maybe in the original one. Let me go back. Let me go back to the original one just to check how much it actually recovered. No, but it might be the same thing because once again this might be up to scale, so and I really don't feel like doing it right now, so that's it, guys. So what do you think about all this, man? What do you think about this pattern from a chart from 1929, which seems to be, you know, exactly playing out kind of the same thing? It's just crazy, man. It's just complete insanity, man. Yeah. Bitcoin is not doing much, so let me check out the Dow Jones. I believe that Bitcoin likes to move more with the futures than especially with the Dow Jones. I think Bitcoin likes to move with with the Dow Jones futures market, because the Dow Jones is actually going up, and like you can see, the Dow Jones futures is a little bit flat, but we're starting to see a little bit of movement on the Dow Jones. So yeah, let's see what happens in here. It's still time, and we still have the whole week. Still have a whole. So like we can see here right now, I guess the Dow Jones is starting wanting to make a little bit of a rally. And like I said, man, I really want this to hit this level here and to see what happens, man. I'm so anxious, man, for to see if I'm right or it's just if it's nothing. But like I said, man, I really don't believe much in coincidences. A lot of stuff is playing out here. It's just freaking insane, man. Yeah, man, that's Vitor. That's what I would say, man. The similarities are just too much, man. Look, the patterns are the same, and I found a guy that is actually looking for patterns on Bitcoin as well. That is the chart that is having. So I basically pay for these charts because he's damn good. That's from him that I'm learning about this fib lines here. He's really an artist, and I believe that he's completely right. He's expecting the drop as well, you know. But I believe that nothing will happen until the stock market makes the move. That's what I believe. I don't believe that Bitcoin will do anything without the stock market, and that's just the way it is. The stock market has to move first, and if we will reach it today, it can extend it. Like I said, it can extend the. Damn, nobody's watching that chart. Let me just switch off to the chart that I'm mentioning. It can go sideways, man. Let me just put in here the chart that I'm talking about. But it's worth it, man. He has useful information. I'm doing my information about the stock market crash. He's more focused on the Bitcoin, but he's expecting a Bitcoin crash as well, and I believe that has everything to do with it. He was actually one of the guys that actually predicted the stock market crash in March, the first wave of the crash, and I was following him, but I was following a lot of people, and I didn't pay attention, so I missed that. But I really don't want to miss this one because if this is going as steep as I believe, he put a target in here of 8,600, but if that correction is going to be that steep, and from what I understand, so in the first drop, the Dow Jones lost about what was it, 40%, 39% or whatever, and Bitcoin lost almost double. It lost about 63% if I'm not mistaken. So this crash will be, or this continuation of the crash will be even harder for Bitcoin. So I'm expecting, if we're going to retest the lows on the Dow Jones and the Dow Jones futures, I'm expecting at around 4 to 4.5k. Just considering the accumulation. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but yeah, basically what has to happen if if the Dow Jones or the Dow Jones futures has to go up, there Bitcoin has to make a violent move as well to the upside, create kind of a double top or a little bit of a higher high or whatever. But it has to be a violent move because like I said, the futures didn't move that much, and Bitcoin generally makes like from this bottom here, from this bottom. So we're talking about 263 to. So we're talking about a 500 move here, And like I said, Bitcoin is flatlining. I don't believe the crash will happen just yet because once again, for that to happen, the futures market has to violently go down as well, and it's not happening right now. Let me check what the S&P futures is doing. Yeah, the S&P futures doesn't look that bad. Yeah, I didn't even make that comparison. Let me check it out. No, basically the S&P is kind of doing the same thing, It's doing kind of the same thing. It's incredible here as well. Look, this was the drop, right? We came that there was a bottom. We topped out here. This was the low. So it looks like the S&P may already have done it, But I still believe we have to make this higher here, because this high is high, but it's not like this here or this or this. We're getting close. We're getting close on the S&P futures. So now, in the spirit of it, just let me take a look at the Nasdaq and the one NQ. Yeah, the NQ. So it looks like the Nasdaq is a complete different beast, because it's making all-time highs. So there is no way I can compare it. But the S&P and the Dow Jones, they follow the same chart. The Nasdaq is the only one that is not following anything. So I believe that the Nasdaq is the most manipulated market here, because it's not following the S&P, the Dow Jones, the QQQ. So these are the tech companies. So this is basically making all-time highs as well. This is a fund, I think. So yeah, so the S&P is basically showing the same exact thing as the Dow Jones. It's incredible. The top here, the drop, the forming of the M or the W or whatever you want to call it. This was the top, this was the bottom. So I think we need to retest. We were going to make a double top, which the S&P is not that far off. Not that far off. So We can actually mark it here as well, because it looks exactly the same thing, man. It's almost insanity, man. So let me put it here. So this is the double top. This was the first. It went down, and now we're kind of trying to get there. So I believe that if the Nasdaq or the futures does it for whatever reason first, I believe that the Nasdaq is topped out. The Nasdaq, the S&P. So I checked the futures. Let me take a look at the S&P itself. Yeah, the S&P looks a little bit different, but basically, yeah, it's doing the exact same thing. So I guess in the S&P, I guess we already made it. I don't know. So once again, this was the top, right? This was the bottoming down. We came up. We came up. We had a kind once again of a double top. So this could actually be a triple top already. This could actually be a triple top, man. If this is the case, yeah. If this is the case, the S&P is ready to drop. So I believe that we're waiting for the other markets to do the same. The S&P, I believe, is already topped out. Because, yeah, it came down here. Came down here, here, here. Now we're here. So, like I said, man, on the S&P, it's basically done, man. On the S&P, it's over. I don't believe the S&P is going anywhere. But just in case, I just made here the line a little bit above. But yeah, I don't believe that the S&P is going anywhere anymore. So I think the S&P has topped out. So because we're waiting for the original, the Dow Jones, because we are waiting for the Dow Jones, because it has to play it out. It has to play out on all the markets. That's what I believe. Well, just because the Nasdaq is it's just insane, I don't believe it will happen with the Nasdaq, because the numbers are complete off. So like we saw in here, do you see it? The exact same pattern in the S&P. The only difference is that this went a little bit higher. This went kind of a little bit higher than this. Went to this level. So yeah, I think the S&P has already topped out. The S&P, I believe that the S&P has already topped out. I don't believe the S&P is going anywhere. So the futures, the S&P futures, and yeah, great that I'm just checking here. The S&P futures, well, there's still, I guess we still need to come back here, although we could, it could have already happened, but I still believe that it has to be going a little bit up. So I believe that the S&P futures is almost topped out. So yeah, basically we're waiting for the Dow Jones and the Dow Jones futures. Dow Jones futures really doesn't want to do anything much. But yeah, man. The S&P has topped out, I believe. We're waiting for the Dow Jones. because I believe this has to happen in synchrony. Buy the charts for Binance or TradingView. No, it's from TradingView. The way it works is that you can share you can post some TradingView charts, right? You can publish them, you can make them your own, and you can share them. And basically, the other guy makes these charts here. The other guy makes these charts here, and yeah, I buy the service from him. So I pay about, I don't know if it is 10 or 20 bucks a month, and I have access to his charts. I can put the link if you want to. opticalarts.com. Yeah, I like no, that's not it. Sorry, this link is not good. I like the guy. I like the way he charts. He's different from everybody else. That's not the link. This is the link here. If you want to have access to it. And once again, I wasn't showing the screen. I wasn't showing the screen, but let me do it now. So I'm not a financial advisor, but I would open a small position, a small short, a 2x or a 5x, just in case. If I was anybody else. So let me take a look. He has two or three tiers. You for 20 bucks you have access to the crypto charts. You have access to the precious metal charts. The only thing you don't have access to is the stock market. For the stock market, you have to pay a lifetime fee, which must be around 200 bucks forever. You pay these 200 bucks and you have access to all his charts and tutorials how to create the fib channels and everything like that forever. So you pay around 200 bucks and that's it. I will put its page in here. No, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I have been following the guy for a while now, and yeah, he seems worthy, for people to buy his stuff. It's not that expensive, so I'm checking so the recurrent plan is what I have. I pay $19 a month to have access. Includes access to Discord and all charts, stocks not including. Then you have the monthly for 40 bucks, pay for 1 month, stocks not included. After 1 month you will need to resubscribe to continue accessing charts. And then you have the lifetime access for charts, tutorials, and stocks. Lifetime access to charts, stocks, and tutorial videos for only $299. Oh, you have more. Sorry. Then you have lifetime access. Yeah, basically that's for everything, I guess. So then you have lifetime access to charts and stocks for $249. Lifetime access to tutorials only, $149. Lifetime. Then you have stocks for $49.99. Then you have stocks 1 month. This gives you access to stocks page for 1 month only, $59.99. So I believe that for 20 bucks, which what is what I am paying, you know, it's good enough. I don't have access to the to the stocks charts, but you know, at least, you know, for the amount of money that I pay, I have a better service. And the bottom line is he tweets a lot as well. He has a Twitter page. He has a Twitter page, so I can put here the link as well on his Twitter page. He puts a lot of information for free, man. Basically, his opinions and what he believes he's seeing on the charts and the fibs. Like I said, the only reason why I'm promoting him is because I see value in it. If I didn't see any value in it, I wouldn't even be talking about it. But like I said, man, I believe the guy, yeah, I believe his information is actually good. His information, his charts, so. And like I said, you know, $20 a month is not a big deal. So here is his Twitter. So yeah. So basically, he's waiting for the Bitcoin to drop, and I'm waiting for the stock market to top out. So let me once again share the screen here because I didn't show it. Sometimes I forget I need to do this. So let me go back. So this is the Dow Jones. Once again, I'm waiting for the Dow Jones to top out at 26,621.1, about that. So the S&P looks like already completed the pattern, like you can see. The S&P already completed the pattern. You see it? It topped out. At least it looks like it topped out. We still have to wait for it, but you know, this is the exact same pattern. Came here, it dropped, found a bottom, went up, kind of wicked down, went up again, wicked down. Then it made this higher, little bit of a higher high, went down, and here I believe this is the pattern, like kind of the M, right? So the S&P looks like it has already completed the pattern. So the S&P futures hasn't done that yet. So the S&P futures still has to go, or maybe it did, but I don't know. The S&P futures still has, I still believe it has to go to at least 3,156 kind of to complete it. Looks like it may be already completed as well, but one thing is for sure, the S&P has completed the pattern already. The S&P futures, I still believe there's still a little bit to go to complete it, or maybe it's done, I don't know. But the Dow Jones and the Dow Jones future still has to do it, you know. The Dow Jones still have to come to this level here. Yep. So the futures, Dow Jones futures, still has to go up to about this level, and the Dow itself still has to to go back to these levels as well. So I believe the S&P has already topped out. The S&P future is near or could be already topped out as well. That's what I believe from watching these charts. You know, I believe in, like I said, we're going to see if that is the case. If that is the case, so yeah, like I said, you know, Bitcoin is still flat as well, so Bitcoin is waiting for a move as well. So yeah, that's what's going on. No problem, man. Check the guy out, man. I believe he provides good information. Like I said, he's waiting for Bitcoin to drop. So the S&P has already topped out, in my opinion, according to what I saw in the charts from the 1929 crash, from the beginning to the end. I believe that we're on phase 2 of testing the lows. I believe the S&P has already completed the pattern. So I believe we're waiting for the other indices. We're waiting for the S&P futures, which still might need a little bit of something, but could be also already be completed. We're waiting for the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones still has to complete the pattern, but the S&P has completed it. The S&P futures might have already completed it, that pattern. So I believe that the S&P is ready for the drop. The pattern is done. The S&P futures might still need to be a little bit still need to go a little bit higher, but maybe it's done as well. Now the Dow Jones is still the Dow Jones and the Dow Jones futures still needs to be to complete the pattern. So that's my 2 cents about the market. We will see if I'm right or wrong, if history rhymes or not. But like I said, man, for the guy, for the optical guys, for the optical art guys, you know, for him being ready for the drop, because yesterday he made a video and he talked about it could still last about 2 or 3 weeks. But just according to what I'm seeing here, you know, we could be hours, maybe 1 or 2 days away. Maybe 1 or 2 days away. Who knows? Because if the Dow Jones wants to continue to go sideways, you know, that could very well happen. But the S&P has already completed the pattern, man. The S&P was actually a little bit different, like we can see in here. Yeah. The S&P looks like it's already I believe it's done, man. I don't believe nothing has to be changed in here, you know. The top here, the drop, the M or the W formation, here, 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 here. So for me, it looks like the S&P is done. But once again, we will see if this is actually for real or if it still has to make something else, you know. I don't know. But according to the 1929 chart, crash chart, it looks like it's ready, and even in here on the S&P futures, it might be already done as well, you know. I don't know. It could be already done. It had this higher high in here. I don't know if it has to be completed on the last pattern here, so the last leg up. It might already be completed as well. One thing is for sure, the S&P has completed the pattern. The futures here, the S&P futures might have been completed as well. I don't know. Looks like it. Looks very similar. It doesn't have to to go to the tick, but yeah, looks like ready for me as well. So we can forget the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is acting completely different from all of them. So the Dow Jones. Yeah, the Dow Jones. In the Dow Jones, we still need this here. See, same pattern here. Drop, down, up, down, up in here. Or maybe we only need to go this far. I don't know. But I guess we need to take out this higher, at least this higher, or at least to top out. I would think. So it doesn't have to play out exactly the same, but you know. But that's what I see, guys. I don't know. I don't know. That's just what I think, but the Dow Jones is Bitcoin is moving a little bit. You know, like I said, you know, Bitcoin is just waiting. It's waiting for. So the S&P is done. The S&P futures might be done. I guess we're waiting for the Dow Jones. I think that's what's going on. We're waiting for the Dow Jones. I believe the futures market moved Bitcoin. I don't think the indices, the Dow Jones or the S&P or the Nasdaq, they move Bitcoin. The futures do. So S&P futures, Dow futures, Nasdaq futures, maybe. Well, if we take a look at it, it should actually be the Nasdaq futures to do it. But if that would be the case, you know, the Nasdaq making all-time highs, that means that Bitcoin should be making all-time highs as well. So I believe it's the Dow. It could be the S&P as well, but I don't know. But that's, yeah. That is basically what I'm waiting for. The double top. Double top. The double top here. The double top is what we are waiting. So we saw that it already happened in the S&P, so this is the move that I'm waiting for, right? You see this in here? This is it. This is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the double top. It doesn't have to go all the way, maybe even reaching high, but I believe it has to go a little bit higher than this one. But maybe here or the same level. So that is the one. See it? That's what I'm waiting for. So we had the dump, we came up, which in this case is actually the high. No, it is, yeah, it is here. So the high, the dump, yeah. Yep. Well, truth is, we don't even have to see it as an M, but yeah, I think we need this high here. I don't believe this is good enough, because if it is, then it means that, yeah, we only need a little bit of a ticker up. So maybe this can complete the pattern as well, I don't know, but it still has to go up. Yep. So like we can see here, the exact same thing. We went down, we had this stop here, we went up, we kind of already made a double top regarding this one, but like I said, man, I don't know. I still believe we need to be going a little bit up. Maybe we don't need to go to this level, but maybe here, I don't know. But there seems to be a little bit of movement now, so we're going to see what happens here. Dow Jones is still flat, not much happening, but yeah, I still believe this is, this is the last, kind of the last thing that needs to happen. Once again, let's take a look at the S&P. The S&P is done. It's not doing much as well. It's just sitting here. Maybe it's going sideways here until it crosses here this trend line. I don't know. But like we can see here, the S&P is done. The pattern is completed here, I believe. On the futures, on the S&P futures, it might be done as well. It doesn't have to play out exactly, but looks like it's going up a little bit now, so we could be on the verge of completeness. So let me take a look again at the Dow Jones. Still flat, not much happening. You see, guys, you see these patterns even on the S&P, man. It's too much of a coincidence that you see the same patterns on four different charts. The 1929 crash. It's incredible that we see it on four different we see the patterns, the similarities in four different charts, man. On the Dow futures, on the S&P, and the S&P futures, man. It can't be a fucking coincidence, guys. It's just too insane for this to be a coincidence, man. I don't believe in coincidences, so it looks like maybe the Dow Jones futures is doing something. The Dow Jones is still not doing much, but like I said, look at this pattern here, right? Now look at the futures. No, this can't be a coincidence, man. This can't be. Look, the same pattern, man. We had the top here, we dumped, we came up to form this M or W or whatever you want to call it. So we went down, we went up again, we went down, we went up again. So it may be already completed, I don't know. This one may be already be completed because it doesn't have to play the exact same way, but we already saw, it's done here. It looks kind of done. In the S&P, it's done. In the S&P, it's really done. Look, there's nothing left here. It's done. Nothing left here to do. The tops have been taken out. We actually had three tops, triple tops on the S&P. So if you want to tell me this is a coincidence, man, wow. On four different charts, you see the kind of the same thing, man. I don't believe this is possible, man. So the Dow Jones looks like it's dropping a bit right now. Dow Jones futures are still not doing anything. But yeah, as far as I understand it, even these patterns already could be done. But I don't know. I believe there has to be a trigger. There has to be a trigger for the markets to move down, and I don't believe that has happened yet. Something will have to happen for the dump trigger, and once again, in my opinion, it has to be the Dow Jones, because the Dow Jones was the only market around, or the only index around back in 1929. The S&P wasn't around. The S&P was only went around since, I believe, 1979. I believe the Nasdaq was from early 2000s. So, I believe that the Dow Jones has to be the trigger of all this. I don't know what was the trigger back in March, but no, it's just complete insanity, man. How you can actually have these patterns, man, on four different charts. Just take a look at it. Of course, there's a little bit of a difference in here. Is when it dumped, it came back up, but the rest is the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. So, like I said, man, this is complete insanity, man. Yeah, too bad nobody's watching this. I bet the guys that sometimes hop around this channel might be moon boys or whatever. Of course, you don't want to tell, or you don't want to listen that we're going to enter a bear market, or what. No, that we're going to steep the bear market. I guess nobody wants to listen to that, but that's just a reality here again. This is not a fucking coincidence, man. We dumped here, we came up, kind of making the zigzag here. But yeah, as far as I understand it here, I think the pattern might be done as well. What I think I know for sure is that the Dow Jones is not close. So if the S&P is already done, I guess we're waiting for the Dow Jones for the pattern to complete. For the pattern to complete and start to dump. But yeah, man, this just can't be a coincidence, man. It's just too obvious, man. It's just too obvious for this to be a coincidence. But yeah, I could be wrong. I'm not saying that I couldn't. Next contract in front. I don't know. This is not the one. But yeah, I really believe we're close, man. We're very, very close. Of course, I still don't know if we're going to retrace back and test the lows. According to this 1929 chart, we did. But yeah, I don't know. So the Dow Jones is moving a little bit downside. maybe the S&P is good enough. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that this here looks just too much of a pattern just to be a coincidence, man. I'm not buying this coincidence stuff. If this is supposed to be a coincidence, I'm not buying it. So I believe that you know, in regards of Bitcoin, yeah, maybe we will have to make kind of a double top as well, or close to a double top. It's moving a little bit, but not that much. It's not making very brusque movements. So it's going down. I believe that once again that the futures market is actually responsible for for Bitcoin to move. Like we can see here, the Dow Jones is dropping a little bit. So the Dow Jones futures is dropping a little bit as well, and maybe that is responsible for Bitcoin to be dropping as well. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we still need another day. I don't know. It depends what the futures market does, what the Dow Jones market does today. We're almost near close of the session. I think we still have what is it? Maybe about 2 or 3 hours left. I don't know. Let's take a look again at the S&P. Yeah, look guys, the S&P is not doing anything as well. It looks like it topped out. I believe it topped out. So I think that the S&P is just waiting for the Dow Jones to complete its pattern for maybe the dump to start. But as far as I understand it, the S&P has completed the pattern as well. So, and I wasn't even aware of this. I wasn't even aware that the S&P is actually playing the same thing, skatering the same thing, and has already completed the pattern than the Dow Jones, man. It's just freaking incredible, man. I think I'm going to kill the stream. Maybe I'll stay on just a little bit longer. So, I'll continue the focus here on the Dow Jones. I'll be right back. Yep. But yeah, if the Dow Jones futures completes this pattern today, because I believe that the Dow Jones might not do it, I believe that if that is the case, then the Dow Jones needs tomorrow in the opening, it needs to make this, and then maybe the dump can start tomorrow. If that is the case, it could still go sideways for a while, and we could see this pattern play out. It could take longer. I don't know. But once again, guys, in the S&P, it's done. Nothing left to do on the S&P, and like we said, it's topped out, so it's kind of hanging at the same level. It's not going up, it's not going down, or it's going down a little bit, but not doing much of anything right now. So in the S&P, it already played out. So no, it's complete insanity, man. What's going on? So the S&P is done. Let me take a look at the futures once again. But for the S&P to be done, I don't believe that the Dow Jones will take much longer. Maybe the markets need to be aligned or something, I don't know. The futures, the S&P futures, it might be done as well. You know, who knows? Looks like it could be done as well. But for the Dow not to complete this pattern, that would be odd to me. Could happen, but you know, but doesn't look very likely, I think. Doesn't look very likely. Yeah. Dow Jones really doesn't want to do much. Let's take a look at Bitcoin once again. I like the FTX one better. Yeah, Bitcoin is hanging around as well. It's not making much. It's basically waiting for something to happen. So like I said, man, tonight I don't believe tonight will happen anything in the futures market, because I guess we're still needing for this pattern to be completed. That's what I think. So if something should have to happen, I guess it will happen tomorrow. Okay guys, I will kill the stream right now. If something changes, if the pattern is completed on the Dow Jones or on the futures, on the Dow Jones futures, I'll be back. If not, yeah, we're gonna have to wait. Okay guys, I'm the Coin.